Tune into Coffee with America and start your day in the right direction, where we go over the latest and greatest in health, lifestyle, entertainment, and more. Start your day off on Coffee with America.
You're watching K34QB, Vail, Colorado.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to GMV Express for this April 21st edition. Now, we are kind of sad to see the ski season roll its way out of our fabulous community, as today is Vail's closing day, but I don't know about you, I'm pretty excited for spring to make its way and then all of our wonderful summer activities. Now, today is National Tea Day, and we've got a great celebration taking place here on the show, as well as so many wonderful interviews with so many great local businesses that we have, and maybe a way to help you find the perfect new career. GMV Express starts right now.
Things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail.
Hey, it's your boy, Nephew Tommy, your host for an all-new season of Black College Quiz, where the nation's best and brightest display their knowledge of Black history and culture while competing for prizes and scholarships. So get ready to see HBCU Nation take the academic field. Black College Quiz! BCQ! Black College Quiz! BCQ! Black College Quiz! BCQ! Yeah, man.
Hi, it's Julio from TV8 Vail. Do you ever wonder why our tagline is "There's more for you" on 92? Because we're always bringing you more. More Good Morning Vail from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. all year long. More local coverage with Vail Vibes and Covered Bridge on TV8. More opportunities to participate with new roundtable panels on Mountain Perspectives. And our expanded Spanish programming block. Find us on Comcast Xfinity Channel 92, on YouTube, or our website, tv8vail.com.
Welcome to Hiring America, the television program that helps veterans find jobs and transition back into civilian life. Hi everyone, I'm Gigi Stone Woods. I'm truly honored to host this vital program. Reach out to the opportunities you see on this program by logging on to our website, hiringamerica.net, and by following us on social networking sites such as Twitter. We'll keep that information available throughout the broadcast and on our website 24/7. Now, let's get down to business.
Good morning, Vail.
We love supporting local businesses, and a great way to do that is to have them come on and share their fabulous mission statements with you. That way you're more inspired to buy their clothing. Well, we just recently sat down with the Minturn Mile Clothing Company, a new one here in our community. So let's take a look at what they have to say.
Good morning, Vail.
Now we are back, and it is the start of our Wednesday morning edition, and on Valentine's Day. And what better thing to celebrate than love and love of the outdoors, especially the backcountry and all of the cool things that we have here in the Vail Valley, specifically the Minturn Mile. Joining me today are the founders of the Minturn Mile Company. I've got Anna and Colleen. How are you, ladies?
Good morning.
Good morning. So Minturn Mile Company, you know, there's a lot of conversation about the Minturn Mile, and you should probably be experienced if you're going to adventure out there. But what exactly is the Minturn Mile Company and also the Minturn Mile?
Yeah, thank you. Well, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you as well, Anna.
As Colleen said earlier, we'll lead with the heart, so we'll explain what our logo is. But the Minturn Mile is a place for experienced skiers. We want to make sure of that. We're not guides, but it is a place full of lore. It's a place full of that we call, Friday night feeling or spring break feeling, where you can hike up ptarmigan, ski some powder turns, and then it's a very adventurous trail that you take. The mile is actually much more than 1 mile. It's a few miles.
Yeah.
And you take an exciting little trail through the woods. There's a beaver pond crossing. There's a place you can stop and have a picnic or an après drink, all on your own little picnic, and then you ski all the way to Minturn. And so we both live there in Minturn, and we wanted to celebrate something. We wanted to explore our creative side.
Yeah.
We both work in healthcare and love where we live and love the outdoors, and wanted to celebrate being outdoors with people we love and care about, and away from screens, so to speak, because we both have children. So that's kind of something that we think about a lot too.
Yeah.
Is being outside together, and I feel like that's very much what this valley is all about. So this is an expression of our love of that place.
That's great. That's great. Now I know it's been a little bit of a secret, but now it's becoming more popular to know about the run. So you mentioned safety, and you are not guides, but talk to me about how can somebody experience it, and what made you decide that you wanted to try it?
Great question.
Yeah.
Well, when I first moved to Vail, we were kind of always powder seeking and looking for what's around the corner. And then I moved to Minturn in 2015, and I learned about the mile and how I could commute home. But to do so, you want to just take all your extra precautions, know where you're going, be very, very in tune with how to get where you're going, because there are stories of friends having to be rescued from the area. And, there's tree runs, there's whoop-dees, and you're also in backcountry snow area. Luckily, it's a nice area that's not too steep, and there's plenty of low-angle, nice trails to go on, but it is backcountry, and it's just something that kind of is a little extra. You get your nice powder day at Vail, and you want to do a little bit more, a little extra, you want a little adventure, people come to the mile for that. And has some legendary access to get to Minturn so that people can end their day for après or even hop on a bus back to Vail and have a good time back in Vail.
It's really so special and so unique to have that from the resorts and then be able to end up in Minturn, which is just a little magical place in itself. Yeah. So tell me about the Minturn Mile Company. We've got some merchandise, which you ladies are wearing some as well, but I love this t-shirt. It's so great.
Yeah, that's celebrating the beaver pond. It's kind of the famous place where you're going on this whoop-de trail, and then all of a sudden you have to cross some willows that are peeking out of the snow over this little beaver pond, and people tend to stop there, and the sun kind of hits your face right when you get there, and have their picnics. And we sat down with my husband and we started sketching some things out, and he came up with this awesome drawing, and we worked with a graphic designer to translate that to a t-shirt. So it's kind of
a beaver. It's so great.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a skiing beaver? And then we've got this great sweatshirt as well, and it's so lightweight. It feels very cozy and comfortable.
Yeah.
You can see the logo.
Yeah, the heart logo is a bit how we feel like Game Creek Bowl looks from here, from Avon, and the two M's within the logo represent Minturn Mile. So perfect for Valentine's Day.
Absolutely. So you mentioned leading with the heart, and so tell me a little bit about that and what that means.
I think that we both feel so deeply about our area, about the wilderness around us. We love Minturn. We love all the shops and restaurants. We love living there. But we also so very much appreciate seeing everybody come ski and snowboard down the mile and chit-chatting with them, and everyone's having their best day,
really.
and they're all heading into town. And we chat with people a lot through the weekends as we hear like the boards and the skis slapping down the street, and everyone's just having such a unique and fun time. And so I think that in addition to our deep respect for the wilderness that is behind us, we really so easily see how deeply everybody loves their experience.
Yeah, we get to kind of jump in on the stoke and pop outside and say, hey, anybody want a sticker or patch? You finished it. You did it.
Congratulations.
Because for some, it might just be a commute, but for others, it's like this huge relief. Like, I did that. That was the biggest adventure I've had. I came here to do that.
It's really hard for some people, so it really is an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, there's a great history behind the Minturn Mile as well. So would either one of you like to kind of share a little bit? I know people have kind of been doing that commute for years as they started working and all of the different things.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think that it really came about because it's an old logging road. So Game Creek Trail, starting at the end of Taylor Street in Minturn, goes up to actually almost the bottom of Tier 7. But it's an old logging road, but don't be fooled. It's not actually a road or a driving road. It's just there's a path through the woods because of that. So it's kind of cool too for some summer hikers or people that like to uphill. You'll go through and you'll see trees that have names carved in them, and trees where people are keeping the branches a little bit low or getting rid of the low branches. But it's just got this long ancient access that we get to enjoy. It is still a little tricky to navigate though, so we don't like to, guide people exactly on how to do it because it does take a little bit of skill. But
it also was an early access as they were exploring Vail and exploring access to that area, because you can get up to Eagle's Nest, of course, and there's a hiking trail that can take you from Eagle's Nest and connect with that Game Creek Trail as well. Bike trail in the summer, what we call Cougar Ridge. It's been beautifully maintained and is so much fun in the summer. So we very much look forward to celebrating this same area through all of the summer activities too. So that's to come as well.
It's almost like our own mini Oregon Trail here in Vail.
Yeah, exactly.
So talk to me about the purpose of the Minturn Mile Company. So it's to obviously create awareness and to celebrate the outdoors and celebrate, but also to connect communities. So tell me a little bit more about it.
Oh yeah, well we are super lucky to kind of have our front row seat there, but it started with kind of us getting to connect a little bit more as neighbors and friends and moms in the area, do something creative. And then all of a sudden, I think we found ourselves talking to people a little bit more, and not just about our healthcare worlds that we've been in for the better part of the last 10 and 20 years, so respectively, but it's kind of like a connection maker, and we're starting to meet people that are doing things, creating things. A friend made these earrings I'm wearing. One of our neighbors is an artist, and we're just starting to pull in all these new things we didn't know about people and learn about ourselves too. And that to me has been really, really fun. And then to actually have dedicated time to spend with my friend and our children and just to do something creative is just kind of just learning and figuring it out. Excited to share with people instead of just doing it in our sketchbooks.
I love that.
We've had a lot of fun with early collaborations with businesses in Minturn and others, and very much look forward to what's to come there. We hope that with enough success, we can reach out to some nonprofits. We have a few different nonprofits we're really passionate about, so we have some early conversations with them that we really want to give back. This is something that's creative, and we want that outlet to be an opportunity to support others locally. So I think though we want to celebrate this with all of whom visit the area, we want to keep this feeling really local and authentic and celebrate the many great things that people are doing here. So
That's great. I love that.
We got the chance to kind of help support with our first event with the Vail District. There was a skimo race on Meadow Mountain last week, and got to give some shirts out and just connect, and that's a really cool first step for making this feel a little bit more outside of just us and learning and starting to be part of the community more.
Oh, very exciting stuff. So where can we go to find out more information or to just keep up with what you're doing?
Yeah, thank you. Minturn-mile.com is our website, and then minturn.mile is our IG handle.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. Well, very exciting stuff. I love the merch. I especially the little skiing beaver. Who doesn't have a skiing beaver?
I love the skiing beaver.
I think it's so great. Well, Anna and Colleen, we appreciate you and very excited to see what you do with the Minturn Mile Company and how you just create community and keep things feeling special and local and magical like it is.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, we will be back with more on our Wednesday morning edition and Valentine's Day edition of Good Morning Vail. We'll be right back after this.
Good morning, Vail.
Each week on the Tech Show, you can look forward to the latest in technology and how you can use it too. We'll also chat with leading experts, and you'll find out if the latest gadget will take my money or not. Don't miss the Tech Show. Tech your local listings.
Next up, we've got a special duo from two of the best voices in the bluegrass and country genres.
We know you're going to love this one from Melanie Cannon and Willie Nelson. Here's Back to Earth.
Songs our love created, I'm still sing. And every night we make the rafters ring.
My name is Tyler Alvarez. I work here at Sweet Basil in Vail. I'm a bartender here. I originally came to Vail to snowboard. I slept on my sister and my cousin's couch for what was supposed to be a week, turned into 2 months, and then I found my own spot, and then kind of made friends and worked different places in the valley and kind of just fell in love with it more and more every single day, and ended up finding my way to Sweet Basil through some friends who worked here and all the great things that I heard about it. And yeah, I've been here for 4 years now. It's hard to wake up in Vail and be upset when you look outside. It's just beautiful. My favorite part about working at Sweet Basil is definitely that I could be proud about everything that we're putting out, whether it's food, drinks. We also get to be really creative here. The bartenders, the whole team here, we workshop our menus every season, so we'll start with a spirit or an ingredient, and then we get to be really creative and make a whole project of it. And then when we get the final product, it's a drink that we're all really proud of for the whole menu, and that's super fun, just being able to be creative and work with new things. And the most fun cocktails to make, though, are definitely the ones that we get to create from scratch. When people take a sip and say, oh my God, this is delicious, or they just love it. And that's probably the most fun for me, the creativity behind it and making unique cocktails. That, for me, that would be the most fun drink to make, just the one that you start from scratch and then people are excited about. I'm Tyler, I live and work in Vail. Come see me at Sweet Basil.
Good morning, Vail.
One of my favorite places to go spend some time and enjoy some great events here in our community as at the Bookworm over in the Riverwalk. Now, we had a chance to sit down with Allie Teague, who always has some great information about their upcoming events. That way you can mark your calendars. So let's see what she has to say.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. There's so much to do in and around the valley. And I'm not just talking about the mountain biking and the skiing, but from an intellectual level, there's the Bookworm over in Edwards. And I'm joined here on the couch by Allie Teague, the expert over at the Bookworm, to talk about a lot of the events and everything that they've got going on there. Good morning, Allie.
Good morning.
How have you been?
Awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Things busy over at the Bookworm?
Yes, they are. Books in, books out every day.
Wow. I mean, it's just so nice to go in. And if for anybody that has not been in the Bookworm, you got to get in there. What a great shop you've got. You've got the coffee bar. You've got everything going on, but just about any type of book you could imagine. And then the schedule of events. What do you have coming up?
So we actually have an event going on tonight I'm really excited about. We are starting up our board game club again.
Okay.
And we are playing Wormspan, which is, I brought it with me so you can see how cool it is. It's kind of like Wingspan. It's the same creators and everything. But this time, instead of trying to gather up as many birds, you're trying to entice dragons into your settlement, essentially.
Nice.
It's super fun. It's a pretty involved type of game, much like Wingspan, but it's super fun.
So someone that hasn't played it before, what's the learning curve look like?
It's once you get the rules, you're in. You can then start developing strategies and play it over and over again. The rules are a little bit hard to understand at first, but that's why I'll be walking people through it tonight.
Oh, a lot of cool pieces as I look inside the game. Yeah, it looks pretty involved.
Yeah, but it's fun, super fun.
Nice. Now, how do you get involved? Do you have to sign up in advance? I'd imagine you have to have a team together, or is it solo, individual?
Solo's great. Either way, I mean, we have a couple spots left. We are asking people to register so I know how many games we'll need.
Okay.
It is free. We'll have snacks. I just like to get a head count. So you can do that on our website, bookwormofedwards.com/events, or stop by the store, give us a call.
What a good night, game night.
Should be fun.
Everyone's going to have a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
What else you have coming up?
Then next week, we are chock full of events. Starting on Tuesday, we have First Draft.
Okay.
Robert Silbernagel will be here. This is his book. It's from Lithic Press, which is a really cool, small, independent press that focuses on books written by and about people in the western Colorado, eastern Utah territory. And this one is about the history of that space.
Oh, nice.
And he'll be interviewed by Kathy Hiker, who is the president of the Eagle County Historical Society. So the two of them are going to talk about the history of where we are now, plus a little bit more west into, like I said, western Colorado, eastern Utah.
Right.
And not only the settlers, but also like the indigenous people that were there first that are still here. And Kathy, if anybody has any questions about the hyper-local region of the Eagle River Valley, Kathy has some great knowledge as well.
Yeah, I tell you, there is so much history out there, and just with the geological formations, and like you said, the indigenous people that were there. I mean, everybody talks about Green Lake used to occupy that whole space at one time, and that's why when you go hiking up there, you can find a lot of fossils and things like that. So very interesting. I'm sure this will be a good book.
That one's going to be awesome.
Awesome.
We're really excited to support Lithic Press. This is the first book we've brought in by them. But we love supporting independent publishers and smaller publishers as an independent bookstore.
Nice.
Yeah. And then on Wednesday, we have, those ones are tickets are $10. It's at 6 o'clock. You can find that through our website, just like all of our events. There will be light refreshments provided as well.
Okay. Great event.
Next Wednesday, we have a free event. It's a virtual author panel, but we're inviting people to join us in person. It's called Not Your Mother's Love Story. And it's a celebration of the romance genre and the new kinds of books that are being written in the romance genre by different kinds of people.
So what do you mean the different types of books?
So like queer romances or time traveling romances. It's going to be super fun. We actually are host of our Happy Endings book club, which is our romance book club, is going to be there. And we invite our whole book club to come and hopefully choose from one of the 4 highlighted books for their next books that they're going to be reading.
So it sounds like from a romance novel standpoint, something that's very diverse and gets you into some different genres.
Totally.
That's awesome.
Not those like Harlequin, they were called bodice strippers for a while.
Right.
That whole genre has changed, so it's kind of a celebration of what it looks like now.
Nice.
Yeah.
How things have evolved and changed a little bit.
Totally.
Nice.
And then Thursday, we have Matt Mosley in. He is an adventure swimmer, and he's also a Colorado author. He loves water. This event is called For the Love of Water. And he'll be joined by Eagle River Coalition to talk about the importance of our local water and what Eagle River Coalition is doing to sustain it and protect it.
Nice. Yeah, that's big here in Colorado and across the United States, really. The water supply, how to make sure we sustain, we use it wisely, and learning a little more about making sure it's clean and crisp so we can drink it.
Totally.
Yep. And a lot of people don't understand a lot with our water that happens here is it flows not only to nourish us, but also the agriculture, and that's a big business here in Colorado and as we go west.
Definitely.
So, nice.
He has some crazy stories about swimming with some pretty nasty animals and his crazy long swims that he's done. He's a really cool guy, so I'm excited to see what he has
And he's got all of his limbs still?
He does.
Okay, good.
Last I heard.
Great. And what's that last one you have?
This last one is May 9th. It's another partnered event. We love partnering with local organizations. And this one is with Bravo Vail. We have a book club with them. It's called the Music and Musings Book Club. And on May 9th, we'll be meeting to discuss this book, Sabrina and Karina. It's written by Kali Fiardo and Steen, who is a 5th-generation Coloradan. And this book highlights women just like her who were indigenous to this area or who grew up in this area for generations and generations.
Nice.
It's a celebration of Latino women as well as stories that they tell. And it ties into Bravo Vail because they have a lot of really cool Latino musicians and orchestras coming in, as well as La Boheme, which is conducted by or directed by a Latino person.
Wow, that's really neat. What a great partnership.
Yeah.
That is. So a lot of the clubs here, I mean, what I'm seeing is a lot of passion, a lot of creativity, diversity. Who comes up with this whole agenda?
Well, I would say I'm our events manager. So I go out and I see, who I want to work with. We get a lot of requests that come to us. And, we at the Bookworm believe that everyone deserves to find themselves in a book. So we try to represent that on our shelves as well as with our event programming.
Kind of the definition of a bookworm.
Totally.
Is get yourself involved. Well, Allie, thank you for coming in
Thank you.
and sharing all this. Great game night tonight, so don't forget to get out there, get over there, check out the website, Bookworm over in Edwards. Great spot there. Just walk in. It's so nice. Grab a cup of coffee or tea and enjoy perusing the big literary collection that they've got in there at the Bookworm. We'll be right back with more Good Morning Vail.
Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
TV8 te brinda la mejor programación en español todos los días. Sintoniza Conexión Latina los lunes, miércoles y viernes a las 7 de la tarde con repeticiones los fines de semana. Además, te presentamos nuestro nuevo programa Sabores y Creaciones, donde hemos juntado tus recetas y manualidades favoritas en un solo lugar los martes y jueves a las 7 de la tarde. Y por último, disfruta de Daily Flash Latino, con noticias y entretenimiento en tendencia los sábados a las 7 de la tarde. Te esperamos por el canal 92 de Comcast, nuestra página de Facebook TV8 Conexión Latina, nuestro canal de YouTube TV8 Vail Good Morning Vail o nuestra página web tv8vail.com.
Coming up this season on Ready, Set, Renovate, we see one couple fall in love with a waterfront fixer-upper.
It sort of wrapped its arms around us and said, you want me, and we did.
And watch as another battles over the budget.
We're trying to look through and see where we can trim at this point.
Are you looking to trim it, Ginger?
No.
No. Construction pros show us the right way to renovate.
Well, we had to do a roof over. We had to hand build a lot of the trusses.
As we're putting the thin set down, the self-leveler has a little clip that clips up underneath the edge of the tile.
Do you have an interesting hobby or skill you'd like to share for Vail Valley? We want to hear from you. We're looking for people to share their musical, artistic, culinary, woodworking, athletic, or technical talents on Good Morning Vail. If you'd like to share your talents with the community, email Danielle at tvavail.com. Join the community conversation. There's more for you on 92.
Daily Flash.
I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English, welcoming you to
Mitch English and Andrea Jackson have co-hosted together for over a decade. And now, only on Daily Flash, they serve up a fast, fun, fresh perspective on the day's trending news and entertainment. Daily Flash offers the latest in pop news, celebrity gossip, fashion, health, wellness, and even some unscripted, irreverent, who knows what's next fun. Daily Flash with Mitch English and Andrea Jackson. Trending news and entertainment.
Good morning, Vail.
From landmarks to undiscovered treasures, this is your guide to all the good vibes here in Vail. And right behind me is one of Vail's most iconic hotels, and the only one here that's been operated by its original founders for the past 60 years.
It's a landmark. Well, it's a landmark because it's built by two people who have no idea what they were doing.
And those two people were Shaika and her late husband Pepe, both originally from Austria. After getting an opportunity to buy land in Vail Village, they decided to give the hotelier life a try.
Originally being, in New York as a model, modeling in New York, I thought it would be perfect. With Pepe being a ski racer, very well known and loved by everybody, and doing well in the ski business. I thought, well, he could have his ski shop, and we build a little lodge like we do in Europe. We live above, and we still live above. Same furniture, the same. The only thing is changed is the upholstery and the curtains. Wow. But it was built so different, and it was banquette wooden floor. You can't make that floor anymore the way it is now. And then we have a lot of Austrian furniture and very different.
Shaika says growing up in Austria during a war shaped her tastes.
We were during the war, everything, we had nothing. Both Pepe and I lost everything. And when you never had anything, you get things with a good, strong, and and our rooms look like guest rooms in somebody's home. They don't look like a hotel room. We don't have air conditioning, but we have fans. We don't have an ice box, but you can come down here and get ice.
And so the little Austrian-style Gasthof remains authentic and charming, which is why the guests love it.
I feel like I'm in Europe, and that's what I wanted. It's amazing that they have owned it and maintained it and been able to stay without being taken over by all the modern types of hotels.
And Shaika has no plans to change that anytime soon. Friends and employees describe her as a tough cookie with a heart of gold.
I'm very, outspoken. I like to scream and get mad. And then they quit and walk out one door, come back in the next door. It's just a family. The ones who last here for 20, 30 years. And I'm bragging that here I'm since 64. I have only 5 chefs in 64 for all these years. And they all stayed here. And then I had people who are here for 30 years. John, like you just met, the one is 42 years with me. I had a housekeeper 30 years with me. When you have people like that, they become part of a family. It's for through thick and thin.
She says she owes her strong character and confidence to her grandma.
Yeah, that came from her, that she really put very much confidence in me, that always, even as a child, she never said look down or they always look up. Because if you look on the ground, all you see is dirt. But you look up, you see blue sky. So that's where I got the confidence that I keep my head high.
And remaining energetic and hardworking well into her 80s, she says is from self-love.
I'm in love with myself. I love myself. And I always say, if you love yourself, you love everybody else. If you cannot love yourself, how can you love other people?
Her love for others is shared generously, not only with her family, guests, and employees, but for the people of Vail as a whole. She says Vail wouldn't be the town it is without the people who helped build it.
The moment we came to Vail, there was just something about it. The people we have met. At that time, in 1962, everybody had a dream. You know, everybody wanted to make something special. Well, let's just say I'm very happy, and I love America, and like I said it years ago, it takes a valley to make a village. And Vail became, thanks to the people in the valley, the people here, it's not just the town, it's the people who are in the town.
She says if you're in Vail, come stop by the hotel or Pepe's restaurant for some delicious food or just to say hi.
Did you know that today is National Tea Day? Well, now you do, and if you're inspired to celebrate this fabulous day in a very unique way, well then we're going to hop into the kitchen with Gretchen and Kim, and they're going to show us how we can make a delicious tea from scratch. So let's take a look.
We're back in the kitchen, and this is always fun. So, Gretchen, we are working you into the kitchen rotation.
I
love
like
it.
this because you know what you're doing, and I am a novice. Like, I just, you know, I like going and getting carry out. I like trying small things, but it's good for everyone because you learn, even if you're not really good in the kitchen, that you can do, you know, different things, and it makes you feel accomplished. So
it's so true.
I'm excited.
I always love to take like simple recipes and try to enhance them, make them a little bit more special, and especially those that are benefit to our health.
100%.
Now, I don't know about you, but I am all about slowing down the aging process. And, you know, avoiding as much needling as I can help it. So no Botox, no whatever.
Yes.
But you know what? No fault to you if you do it. But this is a great enhancement as well. So we're
good
going
for your
to
health, mind, body, and soul.
It's
I like
true.
it.
We are doing a skin tea or skin elixir tea, and so what's great about it is lemon ginger tea. So the ginger is great for your metabolism. The lemon also is, and then you can add whatever citrus that you want to in it, and a cucumber because it generates hydration, and hydration generates collagen, which makes your skin tight and you know looking 10 years more youthful than you really are.
I like this.
So this
I'm
is
here for it.
It's a really fun recipe. It's caffeine free, so if you wanted to, you can always throw in a bag of green tea as well to give you a little bit of the extra antioxidants that come with green tea. But
and Kim, and you were going to say, because I know grapefruit for some people with medication, it can be, that's one of the things that's so weird, but it's one of those things that does it kind of kicks you off and it can be a bad thing. So you can substitute the grapefruit for something else.
Sure.
Is
and
that
so,
correct? Okay.
and that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And since we talked about the grapefruit, I'll tell you a little bit what's in it first. So
Okay,
we've got
perfect.
the lemon ginger tea. So you want about 2 tea bags. You kind of do whatever you want to. I personally like the Art of Tea. That's one of my favorites. But we don't sell it here in the store, and you have to order it especially online. So this is a great. I love this one. It's a lemon ginger vitality. And we've got some honey. You can sweeten it if you want to. You don't have to. This is local honey from Colorado. So very excited. And then we've got citrus, grapefruit, lemon, lime, and cucumber. And the cucumber gives that hydration factor to it.
I love cucumber.
And the citrus is just great in general because of all of the vitamin C. And then we've got some mint as well. So I can't help it. I love mint and everything, whether it's chocolate, citrus, tea, whatever. Mint is my jam.
Same in Ohio, we had a mint growing outside of my window.
Oh,
so yeah,
love that.
It was brilliant.
It's so much fun. Same actually. My mom had a pot of herbs outside of her back porch. It was great.
Love it. Yes.
Great. Well, we're going to start with 3 to 5 cups of water.
Okay.
So I've got a whole carafe here, and we're just going to pour it in here. You can boil it over the stove if you want to. I love my handy dandy tea kettle. It's the best thing in the world. I probably use this at least 2 or 3 times a day.
It's super cute. I like that.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, we're just going to pour that in. And while this tea is warming up, we'll get started on assembling the enhancing ingredients.
Okay.
So we've got cucumber. Yes. If you have a mandolin, which not everyone does, and that's okay, you can grab a cheese grater. And we're going to use the wide side of it. So if you want to see kind of what that looks like right here, right? So we've got our cheese grater, and we're just going to slice it down. So you're going to take the cucumber and just slice it down.
So we cut it in half.
Yeah, cut it in half so it's easy to work with. And then you're just going to slice it downward. And we'll probably do about, 5 or 6 slices. So Gretchen, I'm going to put you on that.
And so we go, just to make sure we go this way.
Yep, so you're going to actually take it long ways.
Long ways, okay.
You're just going to go straight down, as best you can. That's okay.
Perfect.
You can also cut it if you need to make it a little bit shorter, but we just want nice long
pieces,
ribbons of cucumber. Awesome, so while we're doing that, and as Gretchen mentioned, sometimes people have an allergy to grapefruit.
Right.
So you don't have to do this. But grapefruit is, if you were, I'd do about 2 slices. So just to show you, we wanted to give you an array of citrus. But we'll start with the rest of it. So I'm going to go ahead and slice up the rest of this. We'll do about 2 slices of the orange. If you were doing the grapefruit, we would do another 2 slices of that. So we're going to substitute the grapefruit with an extra slice or 2 of orange.
Okay. That's nice to know, though. You can change it up. Even if, because some people don't like grapefruit
it's
either.
True.
I mean, I love it personally.
It's
but
true. All right, we've got the 2 here. Or the 4 slices of grapefruit, and then we've got our lemon and our lime. It looks good to me. You can do a little bit more if you want to. We'll just keep it going. Because we really want to get that inside property because did you know that cucumber is made up of mostly water?
Yes.
Which is really great. So it's got those excellent hydration station properties.
Hence why you put it on your eyes sometimes.
It's true.
It's a depoofing mechanism.
It's true. Did you hear about what all of the what the Gen Zers are doing these days?
Oh gosh, I'm scared. What is it? Tell me.
They are taking tea bags that have already been wet and they put them in the fridge and they put those on their eyes.
Okay, I did that in college, so I was ahead of the curve.
I think that it's all kind of boomeranging.
Totally, 100%. Just like fashion in the 70s, etc. All of it.
Nothing is actually truly original. Let's be real. All right, so I've got about 3 slices of my lime here. I'm going to do 3 slices of the lemon. And then we're just going to start layering everything into.
And I might cut a little bit of this just because it's a little thin.
Sure.
I want the core of it.
And if you don't have the full, you could just do
slices. That's what I'm thinking.
Leave that over here. You can do slices, but this is the fun part. I love this way. You can slice just like that.
I love
put
that.
It flat. There we go.
I feel like the cheese grater got just a little bit. It was a little flimsy.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah. So I should probably watch out for my fingers. But the point is we're going to roll this into a ribbon. So that's kind of why we want it to be nice and thin. If my mom's watching, she's probably going to yell at me about how I'm cutting
totally.
right now.
See, and I don't even know. So,
boom. Great. Awesome. So we're just going to do that.
Perfect.
Great. Okay, so here's the fun part, the assembly.
All right.
If you can get me 2 tea bags out of the tea bag.
Ma'am.
So we're just going to open up this, and this is about a 40-ounce pitcher of water. This is actually, I love this pitcher as well. So you can actually put it on directly onto the stove.
I love that.
But since we're layering everything in here, we're just going to put these cucumbers here in the bottom. Awesome.
I bet it looks really beautiful as well.
It's really great. And then, you know, you can serve this cold, or you can serve it hot.
I love
which
that.
is great.
I'm funny. I like the cold. Which way do you like better?
I'm a hot coffee girl all
Okay,
year long.
same, not
and
I.
typically I don't really drink a lot of coffee during the week. I'll have maybe 1 or 2 cups when I'm here, but I don't really make it at home. So I'm a big tea drinker.
I'm not going to say a single word because I love coffee. I love my coffee.
People look at me like I'm crazy when I tell them I don't drink a lot of coffee. But
Well, it's good. Tea is better for you, so hey.
There you go. All right. So we do that. We can throw in
Beautiful.
those tea bags right in there and just
And make sure to take these off.
Yeah, honestly, you can do that. Yeah, you can just throw it right in if you want to. That
Perfect.
works. And then we'll just put a little bit more cucumber in. I'm going to break that because why not?
It smells so good.
And then our
Very
tea,
springy.
it's nice and boiled. I love this thing. And it also makes a mess. We're also, actually, I forgot about the mint. We're going to throw some mint in. So,
Okay,
Gretchen, if you
yep.
want to put just a handful of mint, it doesn't even have to come off of the stem. You can just throw it right smack in there. There we go.
Bam.
And then the best part about this is we can actually let it simmer for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the strength. And then it's a nice, can you smell
good,
it?
yes.
The ginger from the tea, you can smell that.
I
and then
love it.
all the citrus, and then of course the mint. Oh my gosh, it's the best.
And what about the honey, Kim?
We can put the honey in to add some sweetness. So
Okay.
it's really to whatever your preference is. So if you
I
want to
love
add
it.
some
Yes.
honey into it.
You know what I love about this the most? Can I be honest?
Sure.
I don't like measuring everything. I like kind of doing my own thing and figuring it out, and this is very good for that. You
It's
kind of just
exactly
see what
right.
you want, yeah.
That's exactly right. So we'll
No
just
rules, just
squeeze
fun.
it. And I'd probably do about that. Looks good to me. There you go.
Perfect.
And it looks beautiful. It smells great.
it
It's
smells
a great
amazing.
citrus refreshment to start your
Yes.
morning or your day or whatever.
Very healthy.
Or your evening. It's
I
very
love-
healthy. So
That's a great thing. I bet it calms you at night. It's
does.
just very refreshing.
it's true. Well, you let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will be back. I'll be enjoying my tea in the next segment.
I loved
We've got
it.
World Piano Day coming up, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome to Street Magic. I'm Elizabeth Stanton with some of the most terrifying stunts, extraordinary extreme escapes, and the most amazing cutting-edge magicians you'll ever see in one show. Get ready to have your mind turned inside out. The hand is definitely quicker than the eye.
It's fake. It's fake.
America was built on a love for the outdoors. We are a nation of sportsmen, blessed with magnificent natural resources. With broad interests across water and field, we are united in our devotion to nature and conservation. Join us every week for the best shows celebrating the outdoor lifestyle. Outdoor America. Live free.
Take the first game every one of us played in the schoolyard. Turn up the degree of difficulty to maximum, and then let loose some of the fastest and most agile athletes in the world to go one-on-one in what you have is the most extreme pursuit contest you've ever known. It's intense, it's addictive, and there's only one rule. Don't get caught.
Oh my God! If you haven't seen World Chase Tag before, here's how it works.
2 teams of up to 6 athletes compete in a series of one-on-one chases. Each chase lasts up to 20 seconds and has 1 chaser and 1 evader.
Opportunity to points on the board! Oh!
Whoever wins the duel stays on as the evader, and teams get 1 point for each evasion they make.
And it looks like the opening point for this contest.
It's the best of 16 chases to win the match, with a sudden death chase-off required to break any ties. It's win or go home from now on. Don't miss it.
I'm Amy Goodman, host of Democracy Now! Our independent news hour offers diverse perspectives and unique opinions, often unheard in the mainstream media, live as the news unfolds. Tune in for Democracy Now!, the War and Peace Report, weekday mornings at 9 and evenings at 6 on TV8 Vail, Comcast Xfinity Channel 92. There's more for you on Channel 92.
Hi, it's Master TJ Vail. We want to invite you all to the Wacky Winter Reading Program. It's open to all ages. All you have to do is read 10 books or 1,000 pages. For more information, go on our website, tvavail.com. And thank you to our sponsor, the Eagle Valley Library District.
Good morning, Vail.
There's nothing better than talking books in the morning, so now we're going to spend some time chatting with my girl Tegan Davis from the Eagle Valley Library District, talking about some of the great amenities that you can access with your library card. So let's take a look.
Good morning, Vail.
Just my height. And right now he's like a little
by week, but it has been a minute since I've sat down and had a conversation with Tegan from the Eagle Valley Library District. Tegan, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Great to see you. You know, I love it. You brought all kinds of fun goodies today. We've had a lot of display happening on our coffee table.
A bunch.
So what is going on? Why so many books?
Why so many books? Okay, so April's National Poetry Month, and so this is to kind of remind everyone that we have poetry, and it comes in different forms. This isn't even half of it. I just had a hard time choosing. So poetry is fun because it's wordplay, and I think a lot of people, when they think of poetry, they might think of homework, or they're not sure where to start or where to begin. And there's just so many places where you can go with poetry. And I got big books and little books, and a great place to start. And not all poetry is just words. This one happens to be poetry can also be pictures as well with the words. And this is a good one. Poetry will save your life. And so this is books where, like, he found poetry that really resonated with what was happening. I always like poetry where, you know, if you don't know where to begin, you just flip a page and find a line, or if you're like, that's too long, and you're like, okay, that's short enough, I can do that. And you know, you give yourself like 5 minutes to read some poetry, and you tucked in some juicy words. I brought Mary Oliver because what's fun with poetry is, you know, you get that question, like, what are you going to do with your life? And she took that.
Frequently asked to me
yeah,
all
like,
the time.
What are you going to do with your life? But she took that and she's like, what are you going to do with your one wild life?
Oh, wow.
And so adding those two words, like, really, for me, resonated with me, and that changed that question entirely. And for me, it made it more of an adventure. Like, what am I going to do with my life? And not such a daunting question, but a fun question. So I think poetry is really fun, and it's a good month to, again, highlight it, and it's so digestible. You don't have to, like, spend hours reading it. Just find some lines and go for it.
That's true, and you can. What I love about poetry, first of all, my dad writes my mom a poem every anniversary and every Valentine's Day. So I don't know where he gets his inspiration from, but I'm assuming probably a book like this. And you know, there's so many different options. You know, what is a haiku? You know, what is a fun poem, or something that's a little bit more serious, like a sonnet. So tell me all the details. How do we know about this?
So there's tons of poems out there. And a good place to start is with kitties, or grabbing a kid's book. And so this is Sinister Goose. So if you think about Mother Goose, those are rhymes and poets. And so Twisted Rhymes for Naughty Children. So this is a fun way to start with the kiddos. But again, as you're saying, so this is the Dirt Book. So these are poems about creatures that live underground. And so this is how you can demonstrate with kids how poetry can be fun and magical.
And I love the orientation of the book.
Yes, and it doesn't, so some of these words rhyme, or using lines, so it's so you can take your breath, so you can emphasize some of these words. And then this one again, Mirror, Mirror, so hopping into fairy tales. And with this one, you get two sides of the story. So her locks, so you get to learn, like, what she thought when they got cut.
How fun.
So it's two sides of the same picture, so just different observations on each. And again, you mentioned haiku. There's just different ways that you can play with words. Yep, that's a big one.
There we got it.
And so, and haikus are great. So if you're just like, it's fun to, like, try to do a poem a day, but that can be a challenge. So you just 5 lines. Not 5 lines. Sorry, 3 lines. Got it. And you can just bounce. And again, and learn the structure, and, like, sometimes you're like, what was that about? And that's what I like about poetry is, like, minimal like, this is very few words, but it will make you think.
That's true.
And so that's why I really enjoy poetry. And it can be fun. Like, I brought Spoon River Anthology. It's somewhere in there. And that was written in 1915.
Oh, wow.
And it's about the small town, and you're getting their perspectives from the grave. And you start, like, reading, and you realize that these poems are intertwined with each other. And so then you start getting the town gossip, and you get a real picture of this town. So that is a fun book. Some people will remember that maybe from English class. And there can be this one in here. This one, it can be a poem about a really hard thing. It can be a true story. So poetry is a great way for expression, but also just to play with words.
It's true, and I love that you said that at the beginning of our conversation, that it's wordplay.
Yeah.
And, I think that's what makes a poem fun, especially for kids, is rhyming words like Dr. Seuss.
Yes.
That's exactly a very rudimentary example of poetry. It's great.
And I didn't bring one because it's checked out, but it's called I Hate the Cat, or I Hate Cats, and it's about this boy who does not like the poetry class that he's currently in. It's a curriculum at school, and he's just not into it, and they're studying Walter D. Myers, and throughout the book, he's learning the different styles of poetry, so it's always good to, because then you can play with the different styles of poetry, and then at the end, he's okay with the book, and maybe a little okay with cats. But it's a great book. And it was checked out. So I was like, oh, awesome. Someone's reading it, hopefully enjoying it. Yep. And I can't bring it.
Awesome. Well, you got all of these books, and I've always wondered, so it's Poetry Month. There are so many other versions and ways to dive into poetry. And poetry slams. Tell me, can you tell me about that and what that is?
I love that you're like, what are those? So that's when it's performative poetry. And so it's when someone gets on a stage and they read they can either read it or they have it memorized. And so when you think about poetry and you're thinking about that performance, what else is that performance? And it's music. And so music is often, like when you're looking at lyrics, it's poetry. And so a poetry slam is the sharing of the rhythm and the words just as you would with music. And so it's really fun and impactful and powerful to see people go up there in their expression and how they're choosing to say a sentence, because they can pace it out, they can get loud, they can get soft, and you could read that on a piece of paper, but it's different when you hear it.
I feel like, you're starting to draw me in. Are you practicing taking?
Just getting into it. I'm just picturing it in my head, like my experiences with them. And it's very similar for when you listen to music and you go to a concert, and it's rhythm and sound and the cadence of people's voice along with what they're saying.
Amazing. And, at the Eagle Valley Library District, you have access to all kinds of materials.
All of this.
So we've got
There's
the
more.
books to inspire if you wanted to do a poetry slam, and then you also have access to music files and things along that nature. So where can we go to learn about all of the options that you have?
So our website, evld.org. And if you can't find what you're looking for, we will always try to get it for you, so please ask. And then also you can visit our libraries at Avon, Eagle, and Gypsum.
And then you do all kinds of incredible events throughout the year as well.
Thank you.
Exciting stuff. I definitely feel like I need to refresh my poetry knowledge and jump back in. It's so much easier to read it sometimes.
Oh, it is. Well, exactly. And if you don't know where to start, just take one, flip it, and then there you go.
There we go. I might, during the commercial break, I might be scrolling through some of these wonderful books that you've brought. Well, Tegan, we always appreciate you.
Oh,
and thanks for bringing such an incredible display of literature.
Oh,
we
yeah,
appreciate it.
thank
Yeah, always great. Now, we've got a bit more on the show. We're coming up to our Friday morning close. We'll be right back after this break.
Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Eyepieces of Vail has been a fixture in the Vail community for over 30 years. From designer frames and sunglasses to high-performance sports frames, prescription goggles, and in-demand accessories like helmets, goggle lenses, and foldable reading glasses, our inventory raises the optical bar. Visit one of our 7 locations today and see why generations of loyal customers return time after time for our unmatched service and inventory. Eyepieces, the art of vision.
One of the longest-running syndicated television series is back, America's Black Forum, a weekly series highlighting the latest in our lifestyles, business, entertainment, and finance. We introduce you to entrepreneurs who are making their mark in the business world and leaders who are fighting for change.
Welcome to America's Black Forum.
Tune in each week to know what's happening in our world today on America's Black Forum.
For fun and adventure, join me on Elizabeth Stanton's Great Big World. Find out where I'll be going next and which celebrities I'll be bringing along with me. I'll show you amazing destinations with lots to explore, and you'll get to know my celebrity guests the way they really are, up close and personal. We'll travel the world, experience new cultures, and together, try to make a difference. I'm Elizabeth Stanton, saying the world's a big place, and I'm going to show it to you.
I'm Raisa Pascal. And I'm Andrea Jackson. Welcome to Life, Love, Shopping. Have any personal stories you can share?
Do I? Yes, I do.
So even though you work for some good deals, too good to miss on flash deals now. Check this out.
Studies show spending time outdoors can help with depression, lowering blood pressure, and overall health and happiness.
You're watching K34QB, Vail, Colorado.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to the show. The job market is such an interesting place right now because we have a lot of ideas and misconceptions. Well, I had the chance to sit down with Bill Humbert and get some great information on either how you can hire the best candidates or how you can become the best candidates. So let's hear what he has to say. Are you currently conducting a job search? Well, then we've got Bill Humbert here who's going to give us some great information on what you should do to find that perfect position. Bill, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
It's great to have you back, and it's always great to hear the information that you have to say because there are so many tips and tricks that live inside your brain to help not only companies fulfill positions, but to help people find that perfect job. So as people are starting to search for these new jobs, what are some of the things that they should really look out for?
You know, the one most important thing they should do is stop what they're doing and watch this interview. And the reason is, let's face it, a job search is painful because either you lost your job or worse, you feel betrayed by your manager or your company that you once loved. And so what do most people do? They listen, they will see the advertisements on TV, and they just decide, well, I'm going to start posting for jobs, and I'll believe the advertising that I see for job boards, and I'll find a job. And, you know, and sometimes they're simply doing it to meet the unemployment benefit requirement. And at the end of the day, though, it's all very frustrating. And besides, you have the pressure of needing a new job for the income that it provides you and your family.
Now, what should candidates do as they're starting to look for new jobs?
You know, it's important for them to, first of all, focus on exactly what it is that they want to do. Too often they just kind of, well, I think I might like to focus on what it is that you want to do. And then determine if that work has multiple titles. So an accountant might be a forensic accountant, might be a tax accountant. It could be an internal audit type of accountant. So, you know, determine where you fall in exactly within the titles, and then understand that sometimes companies have different titles for the same work that you do.
And what do many job seekers do that avoids lengthening their job search?
Well, you know, job seekers avoid networking like the plague. You know, they just don't want to get on the phone and talk to people. And part of it is they don't want to bother people. According to the career transition industry, though, only 8% of all positions are filled through posting and hoping the right person is looking at their resume. And I've got some bad news. I'm a recruiter. I know applicant tracking systems. They're not looking at your resume because there's some ways that they will screen you out. So the best thing to do is to network, and network with everybody that you know. And think about this. People who faithfully network every single day with 4 new people, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, they'll find their new position in 90 days. And when I coach people, I have found that to be true. And it's been like 88 days, 90 days, 92 days, but it's right around that 90-day mark. It's amazing. And then consider this, 74 to 76% of all jobs, all of them, are filled through networking.
Now let's talk about this resume comment that you made, because you and I have spoken in the past about how important your resume is and isn't at the same time. And that's one of those basic foundations that they teach you. Your resume needs to stand out. It's so important. So give us more information on what people are doing wrong with their resumes.
What they do not understand is that the applicant tracking system's job is to screen people out, not screen them in. And then the applicant tracking system uses a keyword search to compare the job description to the resume. Now, there's a little problem with that. Most job descriptions are poorly written. And honestly, there are many times I've read a job description as a recruiter and gone, what's this person going to do? And so if your words on your resume don't match the job description words, you're getting kicked out. And your words probably are just fine. But if they don't match, you're going to get kicked out. I had a Harvard MBA, so frustrated, reached out to me, and I was coaching him, and he said, you know, I've applied to a lot of positions that I could do the job, and I don't even get a call back. And so I said, well, send me your most recent resume and the most recent job description that you applied to. Now, what I saw was in the job description, it said must have high school diploma. Now think about this. What Harvard MBA is going to have high school diploma on their resume? It's not going to be there.
Right.
But they're going to be screened out because of that.
Wow, that's not something that anyone would ever think about. And so that's such a crucial piece of information. Now, as people are listening to this interview, what should they do after? That way they can make those steps to finding their perfect job.
Well, think about this. Recruiting and the career search both mirror the sales process perfectly, step by step. And now these people, these accountants, these nurses maybe, who don't think they're salespeople, have to become salespeople. And the first thing a salesperson does is make a list of all the prospects they can call. So make a list of everybody you know, including family, neighbors, former coworkers, former managers, friends that you play golf or tennis with, association friends, everybody. And every day make at least 4 phone calls and talk to those people and tell them what it is that you do and maybe 1 or 2 accomplishments that you're proud of. The reason I'm looking for a job now is because I got laid off or whatever. And then what I would like to do next, and this is the most important piece. Who do you feel I should speak with next? And then ask for their phone number or contact information.
That's a great leading question to help people find their next career. Now, you have been many things in your life, and a recruiter guy for quite some time, but also an author to a great book that will help people find their new job. So if they're looking for that book, what's the name of it?
Expect Success, The Science of the Over 50 Career Search, and the 5-star review that it received said, "You don't have to be 50 for this. I wish I had it a couple of years ago when I was looking for a new job." So I just put the title to hit that niche, but it would help everybody.
Bill, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. Give us all this great information and help people find their dream careers.
Well, thank you. It was fun.
Make sure that you check out Bill Humbert if you have any questions or concerns as you're on the journey to find your new career path. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show.
Good morning, Vail.
Think Big features top kid inventors who face off against each other to see who can come up with the most innovative and creative invention. And Think Big, kids acquire and showcase their skills in creativity, science, marketing, design, and don't forget, teamwork. Check your local listings and watch the world's most innovative kids. They create and invent new toys, games, websites, and new modes of transportation. Tune in to Think Big.
Stevie Lee Woods presents Nashville Roadhouse Live, where country meets rock and roll.
Where I drank my first beer, where I found Jesus, where I wrecked my first car, I tore it all to pieces.
Join us every week for more live performances right here on Nashville Roadhouse Live.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
Hi there. Are you ready to explore famous neighborhoods from New York City to Kentucky? Watch The Neighborhood with host Nicole Newman. Featuring famous people, unique history, and delicious places to eat and drink. Our viewers get an inside personal look at each neighborhood. With each episode we learn, grow, laugh, and live like a local, not just a visitor. Welcome to The Neighborhood. Check your local program schedule and tune in.
Daily Flash Latino. Designed for the American Latino audience, Daily Flash Latino hosts Jessica Reyes and Fabian Marcano deliver their fresh perspective on the latest entertainment news, celebrity gossip, fashion, health, and more in both English and Spanish, aka Spanglish. Daily Flash Latino builds, connects, and celebrates the diverse Hispanic audience. Daily Flash Latino, trending news and entertainment with a splash of Spanglish.
Good morning, Vail.
We want to thank you all so much for tuning in to this Sunday, April 21st edition of GMV Express. And now it is closing day of Vail Mountain, so we do hope that you get up there, you enjoy those last few final turns of the season. But make sure that you stay tuned after this because we've got a great episode of The Chat Box.
Good Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail.
Tune into Coffee with America and start your day in the right direction, where we go over the latest and greatest in health, lifestyle, entertainment, and more. Start your day off on Coffee with America.
Happy Friday afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Chatbox Vail. We are Vail's only local Chatbox podcast. And we are special today because we are spotlighting such an amazing, beautiful local community member. And of course, we have my co-host Jen Sido. I'm Liz Farron, and this beautiful lady right here is Miss Katie Foley, also known as Katie Cat.
That's right.
And you've been known as Katie Cat for a very, very long time.
Very long time. I
Right.
actually got the nickname in my late 20s and very early 30s when I ran a shelter down in southern Colorado.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is why I have Katie here. Not only are you an amazing altruistic human being with the animals, I know you've taught kids, I know that you ran with the library with the learning program, and you do so much for a community. I met Katie about 10 years ago, and Katie was at the time...
I was driving for State Bridge.
For State Bridge, all the fun shows. And let me ask you a question. The reason we don't have you here for one specific reason, I have you here because you are a beacon of light for people that have overcome some of life's hardest barriers.
Thank you.
Some of the toughest things. I mean, like I cry when I bite my tongue. And then I see somebody like you and I'm like, what is wrong? We need to be a stronger human. You know, me, I'm talking about me. And just things like that. So when I met you, I believe you had just maybe gotten a diagnosis?
No, actually, I'd been diagnosed at the age of 21.
Oh, you had? Okay, but you were not...
I wasn't in a wheelchair as much. By the time you met me, I was almost 40.
Right.
And I was more in a wheelchair, but could still walk.
Okay, so let's roll back for a second here. You were 21 years old, running around like, you know, normal people. What made you... Did you feel something different, or how did you find out that you needed to go get checked out?
So I was a sick kid all my life.
Oh, you were?
I was.
Oh.
At 5 years old, I had tonsillectomy.
Oh.
They clefted my palate, and then I started getting sick all the time. It took them from the age of 5 to 18 to figure out what was wrong. I also went into surgery, a normal speaking 5-year-old, and came out with a severe lisp, which you can kind of see on camera still, or at least I can.
Well, that's because you're more conscious of
Right.
it.
But so I had to go to 7 years of speech therapy in elementary school and middle school to fix it. And then broke my knee in high school, had a full ride scholarship to ski the U.S. national ski team at one time.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's impressive.
But I busted a knee. And back then, they didn't do what they do today. Medicine was so different.
Yeah.
You know.
They tied you together with popsicle
Right.
sticks.
I lost my scholarship. But my dad didn't want me to go. It was to a tiny little liberal arts college in Montana.
Okay.
Called Rocky Mountain College in Billings. And
Okay.
I went up and looked, but my dad didn't want me to go. So he was paying for college.
Well, there you go.
And if I got the scholarship, it would have been cool, but I don't think he really wanted me. He didn't want me that far away.
Well, that's pretty much one of your first emotional setbacks.
It was.
How did you handle it?
Well, that happened at 18, and I continued to ski because nothing was really wrong except my knee. So it took a whole summer and a season to fix my knee, and I was back on skis by the age of 20.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I skied then until 22 is when I couldn't do it anymore.
Okay, and did you fall?
So like I said, I got sick a lot.
Right.
At 18, they found out that hole in my throat was getting food in it, and I know this is gross. The food was rotting and causing me to get sick.
Oh.
So they filled it with Teflon, which we now know is not great stuff either. So I have Teflon in the back of my throat.
Oh, good Lord.
But it fixed it.
Okay.
And it helped my lisp even better because the palate was fixed.
Yes, okay.
And then at the age of 21, I went out one night, and I probably drank a little too much that night. The next morning I woke up and I was very, very sick. And it turned out that I had a severe case of pneumonia.
Oh, wow.
And my mother, I will call her my biological mother, I call her by her first name, is Mary. I'm estranged from her. She has severe mental health problems.
Sounds like something in my world, yeah.
Right, as well as my brother, who's gone to prison.
Wow. So it's rampant.
Yeah, she is an RN. She's retired now. She's in her late 70s, but she was then. And when I got better, it took me about a month to get better. I couldn't put my hands over my head anymore.
Well, once you started feeling a little better, all of a sudden you couldn't lift your arms.
Yeah, but what we thought was because I had been laid up for a month,
right,
I was weak.
Or you had atrophy or something, right.
Which actually, atrophy is a huge part of muscular dystrophy, at least the type I have, yeah.
Wow. Well, I would assume because atrophy is non-use of your muscles.
Right.
And I guess if you can't use them, they're going to atrophy,
They
right?
do.
Okay.
Mine's a little bit different than that, though. It's not like I stopped using my muscles. So the type of muscular dystrophy that I have is called FSH-MD, which stands for, let's see if I can say it, facioscapulohumeral muscular dystrophy.
I can't even say that.
So we call it FSHD.
Okay.
There's actually like 30 different types of muscular dystrophy.
I had no idea. I thought there was one.
No, there's one called Becker's. There's another one called Duchenne's, and they're very severe. Like, you find out that your kid has that because they don't start walking or crawling. And then they die by the time they're in their early 20s, early 30s.
Oh, man.
My type that I have didn't set in until I was 21.
So you weren't given a lifespan or anything like that. You can live with this for the amount of time that most people can live?
They say that. They don't know, though. So even, I see a neurologist and have several different types of doctors. The neurologist doesn't really know.
Wow.
Like, I know more about my own disease than my neurologist does.
Isn't that interesting?
So at least Mary was keen enough to know that something was seriously wrong.
Right.
So she took me to my physician, who had been my physician all my life. He took one look at me and was like, you got to go to Children's. And of course, that got scary. I'd never been to the big children's hospital. And I was 21. I was like, why do I have to go to Children's?
Right.
But I went there, and I'll never forget the doctor's name. His name was Dr. Vail. He was the worst doctor I've ever met in my life.
No kidding.
He took one look at me and said, you have FSH, I'm pretty sure. And I was like, what is FSH? I'd never heard of it before. And he explained it to me, and I was an athlete throughout high school and in my early 20s. You live in Colorado, you're an athlete. Like, you grow up in Colorado, you're an athlete.
Well, even if you move here, you turn into one.
Yeah. So I started to cry because I thought it was, it was going to change my life. And he looked at me and said, what are you crying for? It's only cosmetic.
What?
Yeah. And so that was a really hard way to start, like, something that was going to be lifelong.
Especially when you have somebody that you trust and you're so vulnerable and you're sitting there waiting to hear what's wrong with you, and they tell you, you react, and they come at you with a response like that.
Then he labeled me a problem patient.
Oh!
Because you cry? That's
Yeah.
insane.
Girl, I would have been labeled a whole lot worse than
It was in 1995.
All right.
They didn't. When I got diagnosed, like, a lot has happened in the 30 years that I've had the disease. They didn't know where mine was on the DNA strand when I was diagnosed. Now they know.
Okay.
Stem cell research is a huge thing for me if they can ever figure it out.
That's the blood, right?
Go ahead.
It's cells.
Do they rejuice you?
Well, they're like, what they do is they program the cells to go into the DNA strand and change what's wrong. And I have one chromosome that's smaller than all the rest, which makes it, the way they explain it to me is usually this disease is genetic, right? Nobody in my family has it.
Wow.
And I even got on Ancestry.com and looked back.
Do you think it had anything to do with the throat thing that maybe? No. Okay.
It's a complete and total DNA thing. It's a genetic disorder. Wow. And they say it was a perfect storm between my two parents.
Unbelievable.
And that it can spontaneously generate. I just didn't give up.
Well, I know that's why you are here right now, because, I mean, so there have been stages.
There were, and when I got diagnosed, I went through denial. I was 21 years old. I felt like I'm not going to have a chance to be the beautiful woman and wear the high heels, because your balance goes. Mm-hmm. And then you saw how I used to walk. I have what you call it's called a sway back. Yeah. And I would, my back arches and my body sways from side to side. I had an aneurysm in 2018, and that's why I can't walk now.
So that's what created the wheelchair?
No, the wheelchair was there.
Right.
I've been in a wheelchair. I had a manual wheelchair for a long time.
Yeah, I remember that.
To do, a lot of times I'd only do it at State Bridge or at the grocery store if we went to a festival. Otherwise, I'd walk.
Okay.
It was long distances, like all weekend or, whatever. And then it's a progressive disease. I did know that at the time when I got diagnosed.
Oh, you didn't know?
I did.
Oh, you did know. So
they did too.
Did you live waiting for a new symptom, or did you just say, I'm just going to go until things happen?
For the first 3 years, I went into denial, had a little bit of drug addiction.
Okay.
But it weakened me probably quicker.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I'm sorry.
It helped me keep up with my friends at the time.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
And then 3 years later, I actually found a really great neurologist. And I was with him up till about 5 or 6 years ago, and he moved somewhere that my insurance didn't cover, and I couldn't go see him anymore. And he was the best I'd ever had. So, but he used to say to me, I'm just a small town neurologist, you got to do special things to figure out. But turns out I'm not even good to be in a clinical trial because they want you to be able to walk 30 feet. And I can't walk 30 feet anymore.
So do you walk at all?
I can't walk at all anymore.
You don't? So your house is basically ADA set up and all the
No.
It's not?
I have never been completely ADA set up.
Really?
So insurance looks at a lot of the setup stuff as not medically deemed. I don't medically need a lift in my car. That's a luxury item.
Oh my God. That's a luxury item. That's crazy. I mean, it took take two of us to help you.
Right.
I mean, what if you were on your own? You can't go.
I can't go.
You can't be independent going to the supermarket.
With Drive Up and Go, I do a lot better.
Yeah.
But no, I can't just go to the grocery store.
Okay.
I can't even just hop out the car to go to the bathroom. But that all came about even later than after we met.
Right.
In 2000.
Well, you were very functional at that point.
2018. I think you donated to me during that time.
I did. We had a fundraiser.
So I had what they call an aortic or an abdominal. I don't know if it was aortic. It was an abdominal aneurysm.
Mm-hmm.
So a blood vessel down here burst a hole in it, and they didn't find it for almost 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
And so I ended up down at St. Anthony's in Lakewood, because St. Vincent in Leadville, where I live now, it's just a tiny rural hospital. It couldn't handle didn't know what was going on. I went there the week before, is it Labor Day at the end of May?
Yeah.
So it was Memorial Day.
Right.
And they were like, it's a torn muscle. And I was like, okay. And so that was a Monday. By that Friday, my left thigh had started to bruise from the inside out. And that's what happens when you tear a quadricep. I'd done that before. And I was like, all right, so it's a torn quadricep. Memorial Day came, and I woke up, and I couldn't move. I couldn't get out of bed. This leg had swelled up. And what happened then is they took me again to ambulance, and then to St. Vincent's. And St. Vincent's was like, we don't know what's going on. And this is the story of my life, too. Everything I have is rare. So
you are a rare bird.
So they put me in an ambulance rather than flight me down because they didn't think it was life-threatening. They kept me down there for 4 days doing all sorts of tests. And on the last day, they were like, do you want to go home? And I had been in the hospital for almost, I think it was 10 days.
Yikes.
And I wanted to go home. And they were like, you've been on fentanyl, so you have to go to the bathroom. Number one. Number two. I said, no problem. I'll do that. So I went into the bathroom, and I grizzly beared it and that saved my life.
No way.
It blew the aneurysm open more, and I started screaming. Like, I can take pain. Like, pain is something that's part of my life every single day.
Sure.
But that pain, I looked at that nurse and I said, I've been on Grateful Dead tour. I've been on this tour. I used to work for a concert venue. Give me more drugs. And she looked at me and said, that'll kill you. And I looked at her and I said, I don't care.
Oh, that's when pain is that bad.
And what happened is, so it blew open. I've never been rushed to surgery like that. But within seconds, there were 20 people in my room running around. I remember them trying to pull off my jewelry, and I'd be like, no, it doesn't come out. No, it doesn't come out.
That's mine.
Yeah, don't pull it out. And they'd be like, we have to, darling, and I don't know. So I was like, just give me the mask. Give me the mask. So they rushed me in. They gave me the mask. I took 2 deep breaths, and that's all. And then I woke up in my room, and what they told me is I had an aneurysm.
Okay.
It was in this part of my body.
Your lower stomach.
Yeah, and they had put what's called coils in my artery. So they're like, the way they explain them is, pens that you click?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the little bouncy thing.
Yeah, that's what's in my vein now. And
so you're spring-loaded.
But it led to what's called, have you guys ever heard of compartment syndrome?
Mm-mm.
I didn't either.
No.
So all the blood leaked into my left thigh. And that is why my thigh hurt so bad. And now that the blood was leaking out of the vascular system, it was going septic.
Oh my gosh.
So they had to perform a full, what's called fasciotomy on my left leg. And I have a scar now from here up to here.
Okay.
And they had to basically fillet my leg to get all the blood out and relieve the pressure.
Wow.
Yeah, I felt, my leg looked terrible, but I felt so much better.
Yeah, sometimes aesthetics don't matter when you are finally free of agony and pain and discomfort.
It was bad, Liz. Like, I've never, and I'm so thankful that nobody was there.
Okay.
I am. I'm thankful my parents are elderly, my father and stepmother.
So you're glad they didn't see you.
I am glad they weren't there. I'm glad my best girlfriend, Melissa Hill, wasn't there.
What were you feeling? What were you thinking at the time? Were you confused?
I was a little bit confused because I was on pretty heavy drugs. I didn't know what had happened. I just knew that it hurt more. I didn't know until I woke up and they were giving me a blood transfusion when I figured out I had an aneurysm. And so what's amazing though is they kept me in the hospital for 3 more days and then they let me go home.
Okay.
But I had to go to my parents, my mom and stepdad.
Well, that's understandable. You've been
or my dad and my stepmom.
Right.
Not the other way around.
Right. Well, you seem to be happier in that.
I was raised by my father. I left my mother, Mary, at 12.
Okay.
Because I knew. I knew something wasn't right.
Yeah, you knew. Smart move. Sometimes when we're young, we can discover things that we know, and we have our, we're all very protective of ourselves. We're very self-aware. And you were just smarter than most 12-year-olds by not only knowing it, but
I knew it at 8.
But you took yourself out of the situation, which is big.
But what's crazy about back then, that was the early 80s, they would not let me. I asked. They took you into the judge's chambers and asked you who you wanted to live with, and I said my dad.
They don't let you back then, right?
No.
Nope.
They sent me with my mom, but he looked at me and said, when you turn 12, you have the right to choose residential custody.
Yeah, it's really weird why, you would never know that there was what do you call it, the standards. That's the only time I've ever seen a strange standard for men that they couldn't get custody of their child in a certain amount of time, which is so weird because now they just seem to rule. mine. But, right? But my point is that it's interesting that there was a double standard, that's the word.
Double standard.
There was an actual double standard for men in that one department. Not anymore, but yeah. So I'm glad that you got to go live with your dad.
I did, and that was very good. I lived with him up till I graduated high school and went to college.
So let's take it a step further. Where you ended up, you left the hospital, you went to stay with your dad and your stepmom, and how was life then for a while?
It was hard, like going down there, but I was still on some pretty heavy-duty pain medication for at least the first week. And my dad and stepmom are great. They made sure I got up and ate. They made sure I went to the bathroom. They were great.
Good.
And I love them. I love them with all my heart. But 16 days went by, and that was enough.
Okay.
And I had to go home. And that was 16 days after they took out my stitches. And so I said to my dad, it's time. And he drove me up to Golden, and my best friend met us in Golden. And she took me back to my home. I also had 6 animals at the time.
Oh, my gosh.
So I had very good friends who stepped up and took care of them all.
That's amazing.
I lost one of my cats. He disappeared like the day after I went to the hospital. And then we found him 16 days later.
Oh, no. He was looking for you.
He was on the other side of town, way up on the east side, and some lady found him and picked him up and called. He was skinny, and we think he was just roaming, and we think he was like, where'd she go?
Oh my God.
Because I got taken away by the ambulance, you know.
Well, you're a big animal lover. I mean, you can probably relate to how animals can be therapeutic.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah. What kind of animals did you have for?
I had 4 cats and 2 dogs, so I still have the 2 dogs. The cats I have passed. I had them for their whole lives. I still have 2 cats. I have 2 cats and 3 dogs now. But I also rescued a hairless in Leadville. I only had her for a year and a half. She was old. Her name was Belly. But she's great.
Belly!
The other thing I attribute my animals to is they keep me active. I still have to take them out.
Huge.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily go walking with all 3 of them. But what I have done is I've trained the 3 of them to run with my car. And so we just find a dirt road somewhere, and out they go.
I was going to say, do they maybe go with the wheelchair? I didn't know.
I have 2, not 3. I can do it, but with 3.
Or just make them pull you.
I do.
Mush.
I attach them to my belt.
That is the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
So I am sure you're wondering as much as I am, how much emotional relief do these pets give you for when you are in hard times?
My pets are my kids. At 27, I made the decision to tie my tubes because my disease is genetic. And the chances are 50-50. And a lot of people said to me, well, Katie, you're so great. Wouldn't you want a kid like you? And that's great. And yes, I would, but this is not easy.
Yeah.
And I knowingly couldn't do that to another human being.
One more reason why she's so amazing. It's a big decision.
Well, and I wanted kids.
Yeah.
You know, I did. I really did. I was married at one time. I married the love of my life. His name was Dan Klingbob, but unfortunately he got into drugs.
His name was Clean Bob?
Klingbeil.
He's into drugs, but his name was Clean Bob.
No. Klingbeil is German.
Sorry, okay, I got you.
And when I lived with him, I lived off the grid, and I was disabled still.
Okay, and he took care of you?
Oh, no, I took care of me.
Okay.
I could
you
walk.
always seem to have been able to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't strike me as anybody that says, poor me, I need somebody's help.
I think you can attribute that to my dad.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I was raised by a military man.
So he was not rough on you, but he was...
He's pretty rough.
But I don't mean like,
No,
rough,
no.
But I mean, he was
Strict.
diligent with you.
He was strict.
That's the word, strict, yeah.
And I have a big blended family now, but back then it was just, there were 4. It was Mary, John, my father, me, and my brother Ryan.
Okay.
But now I have 4 brothers and a sister.
Wow, they expanded.
My dad's been married to my stepmom for over 30 years.
Oh, that's nice.
So she's been more of a mom than my mom ever was.
Aw.
So.
Well, you know, sometimes family, you can't pick them.
No.
But you sure can land into one where, you know, you can't pick who your mother is. But if it doesn't work out, you're always going to find somebody else that can love you and care about you.
It was the hardest relationship for me to get over.
I bet.
It took 36 years.
I'm sure.
And then, I don't know, this kind of shows how crazy she is, but when I went into business with her, a boyfriend, me and her, and for the first year, we gave her 50% of all the profits because it was in her house. And then the second year, we're going to go to thirds. And my Mary's always been like money oriented. And so she called me one day and she was like, let's get rid of your boyfriend and we'll make more money.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you're crazy. He's a third of everything and we need him. And then she got all mad at me. And this was the last time I ever talked to her. I was 36. She hung up. She waited 15 minutes. And then she called my boyfriend and told him to dump me. and that they would make more money together.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's a horrible thing. I mean, that's your mom.
Isn't that crazy?
I'm so glad you have a stepmom.
I do. She's great.
I also went through, it's not about me today, but I had a really crap mom, and I
Yeah.
ended up being raised by somebody wonderful. And sometimes your bad luck opens the door for something new and beautiful, and that's what you ended up with. So that is important. Oh my God.
And my parents' divorce was a very difficult one because of my mother's psyche.
Yeah.
She went after my dad for 20 years.
Wow.
She, at one point, accused him of sexual assault on me, which never happened.
Well, thank God you were there to say that's not true.
I did.
Yeah. So your mom's still, I mean, Mary is still alive.
Yes.
Okay, and then your dad and his wife are obviously still alive
They are.
and together.
Yes. My father is 10 years older than Mary.
Okay.
And so he's in his late 80s. So
Oh,
he's
okay.
86.
That's not that bad.
No.
I
he
don't
did
think
have-
anybody's old anymore.
He did have to move out of the altitude, though.
Okay.
So we sold our house in Frisco in 2012.
Oh, I got you. Now, where is he?
He's in Pueblo, Colorado. now.
Okay, and then you are up in Leadville.
I am in Leadville, the highest city in the country.
All right, so let's ask about Leadville. What remarkable thing, I mean, she told you ask. I mean, I'm just blown away because for somebody that's had so many ups and downs and barriers and roadblocks, I can't even.
Well, I think it's really interesting. Being in Leadville, it kind of feels isolating, but you seem to have such a strong friend group and support group. And so, how do you feel like that you stay connected, to the people that you are
I'm
supporting?
basically a big fish in a very, very small pond.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in this, what I call the 100-mile circle,
Yeah.
for 50 years. I lived in Frisco. I've lived on the Front Range. I went to college in Greeley. Finished college in Denver while commuting from Frisco.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I have friends who say you need to move to the city because there's more accessibility, and I tell them no, because I have so many friends. My best friend is actually my medical power of attorney in case I can't answer for myself.
Good, you have trust.
I do, and she's amazing. So, and if I move somewhere else, even to Denver, I wouldn't know anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, and you just said something important, a big fish in a little pond. I mean, that feels good, you know what I mean? Because you have touchstones and bases. And so Jen and I decided to start this podcast because we care so much about people's worth, their mental health, their self-worth, their emotional well-being. And a lot of people go through a lot of things. Physicality-wise, yes, you've been through something, but you have a career. I mean, you never gave up on yourself. You never stopped pushing forward. And now tell everybody what you do in Leadville, because I just think this is amazing.
I actually run the only I own and operate the only taxi in Leadville called Katie Cat's Cash Cab.
Katie Cat's Cash Cab.
With all K's.
All K's, yeah.
I was going to do Katie Cat's Cab with all K's.
But then it would have been KKK, and we
Yep.
don't need that.
You got it. That's exactly why I didn't do it.
Yeah, we need the 4 Ks, because otherwise
And
it's not
actually,
important.
that's where I get probably most of my ego is from that, because I have people, so everyone knows me, right? They
Yeah.
know that I am the girl that runs the taxi in
Right.
town. And so, White Mountain Snowmobile Tours uses me.
Oh, nice.
Alpine Dog Sledding uses me.
Oh, cool.
I have a wonderful lady over in Summit County that does reservation or puts trips together and calls me if she needs help.
It's incredible.
And then in the summer, we deal with hikers, people on the Colorado Trail, people on the Continental Divide Trail, and the 14,000 footer crew. And I just love all the hikers.
Yeah.
They're so fun.
And everybody is really, really amazing. with
Well,
you.
and they're all part of their own little community.
Uh-huh.
And I'm part of that community too, because I drive them everywhere.
That's
And they give each other trail names, which is really funny. I like
Wait,
it.
their own name or is it trail name?
No, let's see, what was one of the guys? One of the guys was bigger and they called him Slim, and I guess you can't give yourself the nickname. Somebody else has to give it to you.
Gotcha.
Like one lady, I forget what the 5 P's stand for. Principal, something, 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 and she was 5P because that's how she lived her life.
To pee or not to pee?
So I do them in the summer. and I love it. And because everyone knows me, like these tourists, when they call, like Judy at White Mountains, like, you got to get Katie. She's the only one.
Aw, that's amazing.
And there is no Uber or Lyft up there.
Yeah.
Right.
But-
That seems
hard
like
to
its
hear.
own little world, but I love
But I
Vail.
did my research, ladies. Uber takes 40% of what you make.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah, you're better being KKKK. I just think it's incredible because, I know so many people that have been through even maybe one traumatic event, and they just let themselves fall prey to it, and they can't get past it, and then they end up with depression, and their life, like, look, we all have self-medicated in one point or another when we've been going through hard times. I am also that person. But, one day you wake up and you say, well, this is no good. Not only is it not helping, but it's making things worse. Alcohol is a depressant. Any kind of drug is just a haze over, so you don't really know. You can't feel what you're feeling, and you can't get through what you're trying to get through if you're covering it all up with drugs and alcohol. So you're not alone in that department, but would you do stand by your own self? I shouldn't say stand, but you know how you stand alone in one special department. You've overcome more than one major traumatic event. I mean, a mother that's been a little, not so great, changing homes, having an illness, going in and out of the hospital, and then the end result, finding out you have MS.
MD.
I'm sorry. Why do I say MS all the time?
Because everybody does.
I think just comes off the tongue.
Well, MS is so much more.
Multiple sclerosis is not muscular dystrophy.
Correct.
Free. It's not, and I know that. I just screwed up the letters. But do you understand how powerful it is to have people hear what an amazing... You don't.
I don't.
Well, I am here, and I know Jenna's here to tell you that...
I was really nervous today.
I know, but you're fantastic. You are bringing such a light to this podcast. I don't know anybody that has been through so much and has such a strong sense of self. I mean, you know who you are. You've got sense of worth. You're
created
still
your own business.
Yeah, you have your own business. You're still happy.
I'll tell you this. It's been hard. I've had very, very hard times. Like, when I lost my husband, he let our house go into foreclosure. We were on 7 acres off the grid. It was an amazing place. We had 10 animals. I tried to commit suicide twice after that.
So it was harder than this?
It was a combination of everything.
Okay.
He left. I couldn't live out on my land anymore by myself because I wasn't strong enough, and that was hard. So I had to move into town, and then he moved back to the house, let it go into foreclosure. I didn't find out for 6 months. So I was losing my house, my husband, half my animals, and I had a stupid disease. It's not an easy disease. It's very cruel.
I think it is too.
It is. It's cruel. And
it just
it tends to heighten. So the type I have, they told me that it shouldn't affect my lifespan, but I have a weak diaphragm. Your heart's a muscle. And FSH it started with just my face, my upper arms, and my shoulders.
So what happens?
I atrophy.
So you just can't, use them.
Right.
For the most part, because it feels heavy.
I can actually, it's hard to explain. So what happens is, this is what happens to a body that has what I have.
Okay.
At the age of 21, there's a protein in all of us, and it's called DUX4, DUX4.
Okay.
And it's a protein that, as you grow from 0 to 21, it helps build your first structural, your muscles.
Okay.
Then once you hit 21, it's supposed to shut off completely. In people with my type of MD, and they've just figured this out over the 30 years that I've had it, that protein turns toxic and starts eating the muscle and turns it to fat.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's a very biochemical thing, and that's why it's very hard to figure out, and DNA.
It's more difficult than MS, actually.
It's much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'll show you my arms. So my lower arms are still all right.
Which is scary because my arms are that skinny too, and I have muscles.
I'm sure they're not up top, but look how little they are.
Okay. Oh, baby girl.
Yeah, so there's nothing. And
Right. And there's no exercise or anything that would
No.
even build it because it's just genetically.
I'm active.
Yeah.
I'm
I know
driving
you're
all the
active,
time. I mean, I stay home more now that I'm older.
Where are you now?
I'm 50.
Amazing. You look so good.
Thanks.
I mean, no, seriously, like your face and everything, you look still young.
I have a girlfriend and we're working on some videos maybe for TikTok or something down the road.
Oh, yeah?
And she was like, send me pictures of you when you were younger. And so I sent her a couple of me in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And she texts back, you look exactly the same.
You
I'm
really
like,
do. I have some.
I
on
got some wrinkles now, though.
No, I put some of her younger photos on Facebook and everything like that just to show. And you are still just as adorable. You still have all of your features. So thankfully it didn't take place in your face.
Oh, it has.
It doesn't look like it has.
It has. I have a weaker mouth.
Okay.
And
Because you have the muscles behind your jaw that you have.
Right.
to use,
All my face muscles.
Really?
So I have dry eye because I
Oh,
don't
yeah?
blink as much.
Oh.
Because the muscles are weak.
Okay.
So
these are things you know that most people don't see.
Yeah, but it's the disease, facio. So that's your face.
Okay.
Scapular. And what my scapulas do is they wing out. So there's not enough muscle to hold the scapulas down.
Okay.
So they wing out.
Oh, okay, that's
And
interesting.
It's hard to see, but you can feel
Yeah,
them.
a little bit.
Yeah. So that's, tough. The other thing that happens too is your tendons tighten. They don't know why. And so my tendons have tightened in my legs. Like I can't lay flat anymore.
Oh.
My legs stay up.
Oh, wow.
I have to.
So you have to have like cushions and stuff?
No.
They just stay that way?
I sleep on the side.
Okay.
Yeah, but so that, is, like I really noticed the difference probably when I started at Statebridge because I actually started menopause then.
Oh my God, imagine at the same time.
Well, the problem, and they figured this out over the 30 years that I've had it, so it seems to progress when your body's doing like a hormone dump.
Oh.
And so like I was 21, going into childbearing age and getting different hormones, and it progressed. It also progressed pretty fast once they told me what I had.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting.
So
today, you're here, you're Katie Cat, and you're
Mhm.
amazing, and you have your own business, and you run lots of different things going on around in Leadville, and you have a lot of connections.
I even have a boyfriend.
You have a boyfriend?
I do.
Oh. All right, now we need to know about the boyfriend before I get to my other
I would love to tell you about my boyfriend. His name is Jimmy Leibel. Leibel.
Well, okay.
Another German.
Leibel. These last names are killing me with men.
And he was actually my mechanic.
Aww.
And one day he gave me, I'm really into VWs, so I own a 1977 Westfalia. Right now he's rebuilding the engine on it. Hopefully I can take it to FIBARC in June.
That's amazing. So this has to be so important and special. And
It's crazy special. You want to hear the craziest thing?
Yeah.
So when we were like just getting to know each other one day, he goes, I got a book for you to read. He runs in his house and he comes out. And have you guys ever read The Devil in the White City?
No.
By Eric.
I can't remember the author, but it's about the World Fair that took place in Chicago in 1859 or something.
Uh-huh.
And what it does is it parallels the guy that put together the whole World's Fair with the serial killer Holmes, who was probably one of the most famous first serial killers ever.
Wow.
And he handed me the book, and I was like, dude, this is the same book I'm reading.
No way. So there's kismet.
So
right
then
now.
I asked him when his birthday was, right? We had the same birthday.
No way. What is going on?
But he's 4 years older than I am. So he's born
Big
in
deal.
70 and I was born in 74.
What's it like? He obviously doesn't treat you as anybody with a disability because he loves you for that, right?
I told you we had a little shower mishap today.
Okay, so
He was outside and I needed his help and I got myself in finally. But yeah, he helps me sometimes.
Okay, good.
Like getting in the car is hard for me these days.
Okay.
So if you look at the back of my belt, you'll see a grease stain. And it's where he picks me up and puts me in the car.
Okay, can I ask a personal question?
Sure.
Is romance still a thing? Can you be romantic?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Never stopped in Nikki.
So that's one thing that doesn't change.
That doesn't change.
No.
Hey, Look, you got a beautiful face and the nookie still works, so you're good.
The only thing the thing I didn't like is I lost some of my boobs. Because there's, we have pectorals behind our boobs, and I've lost some of my pectorals.
Oh.
So.
I don't know anything about the body. I'm
either.
learning more today than anything I've ever known.
I didn't either. You don't really study this stuff until it happens to you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that I planned for.
Mm-hmm.
It was a huge wrench thrown in my
I can't
world.
even imagine. I mean, we all get thrown wrenches, but
It was huge.
This wasn't a wrench. This was an axe.
It was, yeah, and it changed the way I look. It changed the way my parents treated me, Mary and John.
Mm-hmm.
Like nowadays, I love my dad so much that it's kind of hard, and I can't be putting more pressure on him, so I don't go and visit as much unless Ginny goes with me.
Okay.
So some of that's starting to happen.
And that's also basic stuff in life. Your parents start to get older, and you just want to, keep that connection going, and it gets a little harder and harder. Jen, we're going to close up soon, but I know you have a big question for Katie.
So you mentioned that, you knew more about what was going on with you than your doctors. So is there any, something that, where you had to advocate for your own health, or,
I have to every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. My body handles things differently.
Yeah.
About 3 years ago, right after the aneurysm, I got diagnosed with kidney stones because I drink too much soda. The sugar.
Yeah. I'll stay away from that stuff completely.
Yeah. I wish I could. It's
Your
the
vice.
death of me. I actually cut out. I used to have the motto of there's water in everything.
Just drink Pellegrino.
Now I drink 32 to 64 ounces of water a day.
Oh, good, okay.
I had to have another surgery last summer to get a kidney stone removed.
You can't pass them yourself because there's muscles involved in that, right?
No.
No.
They don't know why I can't pass them, but they don't hurt me like they do everyone else. Okay, I don't feel them. What happens to me is I get extreme fatigue and low-grade fevers. That's how but it took months to find out what was going on.
Yeah.
So Melissa goes with me too, and so if there's something I miss or they put me on some sort of sedation or drugs or whatever, she stands up and says, hey. And my best friend is probably I advocate for myself a lot.
Yeah.
I've fallen off the wagon lately, though, because sometimes it gets very overburdened.
Yeah.
I have way more paperwork than anyone else. My business and my private life are completely separate. I'm not allowed to spend the money in my business for anything personal.
Yeah.
I do get disability. I'm on Medicare. And I work with all that, but it doubles my paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going to the different nowadays, I have a neurologist, a urologist, a regular physician, and they make you go see them all.
Mm-hmm.
And I do take pain medication because it hurts.
Yeah.
Well, and I have one more question. What is, would you say, your biggest source of light that, keeps you going, keeps you motivated?
Yes, that's perfect.
Keeps you fighting.
I have lots. I have my friends and the people who I call family. It's the family that I've made.
I love that.
And I do try to do a family dinner every month.
Yeah.
So couple girlfriends come over and they help me cook, and we invite some of them, our friends over, and we all sit around and joke.
I love that.
And so having that support system, not only that, I've learned how to spread it around so no one gets sick of me.
That's wonderful.
And my animals, my animals are what saved me from the suicide attempts.
I'm so glad you're past all that. I gotta say,
I do take antidepressant. I have to. Well, and I went to therapy.
It's a different. Well, I think that you needed all these things because you were going through so much. And all I can say is, because we do have to wrap up, it's been an hour. You really know.
Thank you for having me, ladies.
The gratitude that you have been able to grab onto and get past everything. And I know you did almost give up a couple of times, but you didn't.
I didn't.
And it came back through. And I don't know what you learned today, but what I learned is that no matter what we go through in our lives, there is something in us that gives us enough strength and courage to keep moving forward. Never fear.
You know what my motto is?
What?
Could always be worse, ladies.
Oh my God, I love that.
I lost my best friend in 2014 of brain cancer.
And that was worse.
That was way worse.
See? We all go through it. We all have so many things going on. But I can't thank you enough for being here. You are so strong and
Thank
so
you.
magnificent. And your story today, I think, is going to resonate for so many people, because a lot of us, we take these little things that bother us and we make it wreck our whole day. But when you can see somebody that's been through a lot, life is life. Life is hard.
It's hard for everyone.
And I know, but then it's harder for others. But you make it like you can make anything work if you try hard enough and if you believe in yourself enough. And I think that's what you've done.
Well, I thank you for the invite. This was a lot of fun, guys.
You're magical. You really are. You're magical. This is Katie Cat, everybody. If you're ever in Leadville, you better get your Katie Cat Cruiser. Cash Cruiser.
Cash Cab.
KKKK. And please tune in. If you didn't catch us live right now, we are always on Instagram, and we are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, and we are also proud to say that we are after Good Morning Vail on the weekend. I think it's Sunday, but it might be Saturday. I forget, Danielle, I'm sorry. But either way, they love us and they take care of us here. So thank you to everybody here at TVA for giving us this beautiful space to bring in beautiful people like this to shed your light. You are just incredible. I am so proud of you, and I'm so happy. And I haven't seen you in so many, many years. But we're all going to go to Route 6 and celebrate tonight and hang out for a little bit because there's a CD release party. But I just love you very much.
Love you too,
Thank
Liz.
you for bringing your story to
Thank
us
you for
here at the
inviting me.
chat box. We love you so much.
Thanks.
Yay.
Thanks.
The world is always a beautiful place, everybody. Remember that. Thank you for tuning in to the chat box.
You're watching K34QB, Vail, Colorado.
Better watch out. Better not cry.
I just hit my face in the ground.
Better not pout. Why ask why? It's time for Sports Gone Wild. Of course, if you want to be good at any sport, it pays to put in your fair share of workout time.
I get big muscles. Look at my push-ups. I'm Australian.
If the goal was to get swollen muscles, mission accomplished. Because the muscles in his face are starting to swell already.
I just hit my face in the ground. Oh my God, Penny.
Whenever someone says, hey, look, no hands, they probably should use their hands.